have those, museums of medieval torture in Europe. That's what we need. So I hope you get that done. And he's also the founder of Positive Television. I've been looking for that my whole life. Positive Television. I still haven't found it. But anyway, without any further introduction, Probath.
That's why I just wanted to give you guys a heads up.
We know. Melanie, we're good on the presentation? Yeah. Because if we weren't, I have like an hour-long speech. Our forefathers told no. Last year, well, I met Melanie probably 4 years ago. Last year, I helped put together a fundraiser for Melanie. And it was her event was the Sunday after the Supreme Court decision on marriage equality passed, which is a very historic weekend. And I thought having Melanie, and I'm sure we planned the fundraiser around Supreme Court decisions, but having it work out that way was so appropriate because when we think about sort of what the work that we're all trying to do, but specifically the work that Melanie's doing, it's really, when we go from an academic standpoint, we go from a standpoint of how do we change people generationally? Is it possible? Are we going to see that happen? Are we just we're obviously hopeful, but are we delusional is really the question. And some people are probably as well. But on the hopeful side, you sort of look like historically. All right, so if you look at where we are today, like in this country, for better or worse, probably worse, 6 months from now, we're going to have the first woman president, which is an amazing historic thing, right? There's a few of us still hoping Bernie will figure out how to do it. As a friend once said to me, pandering, but I know my audience. I'm a big Bernie supporter. So, but if we look, it's still really an important historic moment to have the first woman president. But if we look at when change happens, so Hillary Clinton's mom was born in 1919. When her mom was born, women were not allowed to vote. And now her daughter is going to be the next president of the United States. So that's from the mom to the daughter. When Barack Obama was born in 1961, he would not have been able to vote for himself in 2008 because the Voting Rights Act wasn't passed until 1965. So this stuff happens in one generation or 2 generations. And when I introduced Melanie last year, because that was the weekend of marriage equality happening, part of my speech that weekend was how in 1996, the Defense of Marriage Act passed saying marriage is only one man and one woman. It was this national movement to believe that marriage equality should never happen. And that was 1996. And how can you have large majorities of Republicans, Democrats, the courts believing one thing, and 19 years later, believing the exact opposite? It's not even nuanced, that it's a little different. Those are polar opposite views. So how does that happen? Why does that happen? And if I knew the answer, I don't think I do. No, I think I do kind of know the answer, which is why I'm here, because I think it never feels good to hear this, but that's why I'm here to tell you it doesn't feel good. It's not all activism is the same. Not what everyone does is the same. Now, we can yell and scream at everyone, and that probably feels nice. And I will promise, and there's a few other people clapping, the other ones screaming after. I will tell you, if you yell and scream at people about anything, about why Hillary should be president or Trump, or why they should be Christian or Jewish or Muslim or vegan, 1 or 2 out of 1 million people are going to change. So I'm not going to argue with you that it never works, because it's going to work once or twice out of 1 million. And those people that yell and scream will point out those 2 examples and try to extrapolate that happened. No, it really happened those 2 times. I believe you. So don't yell at me is usually what I tell them. But all the people they're yelling at, I would argue, you probably have lost 999,995 people. And then there's that one that's always undecided. I never understand that. It's the voting electorate in this country, apparently. But so when you look at that, it's like, when this stuff happens, like you really, really, really have to look at what definitely doesn't work, has low chance of working, and then what are the high chance of working projects, people. And one of the reasons I love Jim Greenbaum is, I want to call him curmudgeon Greenbaum, Jim and I disagree every time, but we like each other, and he's so focused on data, what works, what doesn't work. So Jim believes in Melanie. There's got to be something good about Melanie, because Jim, is only going to do research about everyone. But what I think is, we're really lucky today that this audience of everybody's amazing. We have wonderful activists, wonderful celebrities, wonderful bloggers, social media people, and everyone's doing really good work. And all that work is essential and important, and where we're at today is exactly where we should have been 10 years ago. But where we're at today is still good, but we hope that we can move along. But when Melanie's good friend, Kathy Preston, who's here, when, we love Kathy. So as Jim and Lucy and a few of us, like I'm a crazy researcher, and we've had Kathy speak at events before, and I remember researching her work, and Kathy was the one that got Oprah to do the 21-day vegan challenge. Remember that? She was on Martha Stewart, she's on Charlie Rose, one of my favorite shows to learn about what's happening in the world. And I said this to Kathy, and Kathy will fight with me about it. What Kathy's doing isn't the same as what everyone else is doing. Like, we're all doing the best we can, but when you can get Oprah to adopt a vegan diet for 21 days, that's an exceptional feat that I know not everyone has access to Oprah. Now that I called Kathy out, I was going to ask her for Oprah's number, so she's in trouble. But there's certain people that are able to get to audiences nobody else gets to. So as you all know, I'm a little bit of an animal activist. I'm a little bit of a connector. I'm obsessed with this world, right? So when I met Melanie has been to 5 continents legally. Like, she's not even sneaking in. She's been to 5 continents. She's speaking to audiences that want to see her. She's not pretending, she's not sneaking in and jumping on the stage. She is there because people are rushing to see Melanie, because her message is resonating with people, and she's approaching advocacy. And I always say, animal advocacy is a microcosm of social justice, right? So if you can get people to come and learn about your issue, it doesn't matter what social justice movement you're in, it's good that it's happening. But if you're getting people to come and learn, when so much of the advocacy world is people being scared and sad and frightened that you're going to depress them. So I so strongly believe in what Melanie's about. I so strongly believe in her work. And I think, there's a million organizations. Jane has an organization, I have an organization, Jim has an organization, but we're all here today because Moby has this organization. We so believe in the work that Melanie's doing that we not only want to see it continue to do what it's doing. She's at a really unique place where a year ago when we did an event with Melanie, she had ideas of how to expand it. Now she's created the Center for Effective Vegan Advocacy. Now Melanie has a $100,000 matching grant. So really, by the way, the other thing that I realized, anytime there's an anonymous donor that donates money and nobody knows who it is, I'm just going to say it's me. Because if they're going to be anonymous about it, if anything good happens in the world and there's an anonymous person, it's me, and if anything terrible happens, I had nothing to do with it. So I've lived in LA long enough. I learned that lesson. Always take credit, never take credit. But Melanie is in a really, really unique place now. She has this long track record, Harvard educated, which matters to people. Not from University educated, she's Harvard educated. Melanie won the HIMSS Awards. The same award she was given went to, I don't know if you guys have read her bio, but Dalai Lama, kind of cool. Wow. Nelson Mandela. So when Melanie is in the same company with those people, she's not sneaking into the award ceremony. Melanie is the focal point. She's being honored because people understand her work. And I know for me, being in this space for 15 years now, there's so many wonderful people doing such amazing work. But if we have a chance to take someone who has done amazing work, is reaching huge audiences, is the person who I always like to put pressure on Melanie. If all those other social justice movements, marriage equality in 19 years, voting rights is 55 years, women having the right to vote is 90 years. If all of that has happened, if there is hope to get not only the animal advocacy message, but the greater message of compassion and understanding and helping people learn, because for me, as much as all the animal advocacy stuff matters, we want people to live longer, healthier lives, and people are dying in this country. The number 1 cause of death is heart disease, number 2 is stroke. those are preventable illnesses these people are dying from because of the choices they're making. Those choices are also meaning millions and billions of animals are dying. So for me, I don't support Melanie because I like Melanie, she's a great person. I support Melanie because I think Melanie is one of our greatest hopes in taking this movement to a whole different space. If I could write her in for like president, I would write her in. But I don't want her to be burdened by such a mindless task. I think Melanie has the ability to do such amazing work. And so I'm so happy to introduce my friend Melanie, who's one of my favorite people, and I hope you all will financially support her work.